Tonight, with the Paddy's Pond fire officially under control and the Martin Lake fire being held, provincial officials are feeling optimistic.
We want to make sure that residents of Newfoundland and Labrador have access to as many funds as possible to help them as they rebuild their lives.
The federal government is doubling donations made to the Red Cross to support people affected by wildfires.
Some people have taken annual leave and have gone out to respond to these emergencies.
Newfoundland and Labrador is seeing an unprecedented number of wildfires, and volunteer firefighters are going above and beyond what they signed up for. I'll have that story coming up.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We begin tonight with good news on the wildfire front. The Paddy's Pond fire is now officially under control. Now that's an improvement on the previous status of being held. Officials say progress is being made on all the major wildfires and they're beginning to show signs of less activity. Here and Now's Henrika Wilhelm reports.
The ongoing wildfires in Newfoundland seem to be showing signs of slowing down. Out of the 3 major wildfires burning on the island, only one remains out of control. As for the biggest of the wildfires, the Kingston fire in Conception Bay North, that hasn't seen any growth either, but it's still at around 11,000 hectares. To put that in perspective, that's about 27,000 football fields. Water bombers from this province, as well as Ontario and Quebec, tackled it from the air Wednesday. As for the attack on the ground, it was a divide and conquer approach. Some resources worked to protect structures, while Canadian Armed Forces members focused on hotspots, and ground crews from this province and Ontario worked on the northern and southern edges of the fire. With these positive developments regarding all 3 fires, the province announced Wednesday night that the ban of all off-road vehicles on forested land has been lifted. The province-wide fire ban, however, will remain in place until at least September 7th, when it will be re-evaluated. Henrika Wilhelm, CBC News, St. John's.
Now, while the Paddy's Pond fire is now under control, crews are still working on putting it out, but the improving conditions do mean more resources can be shifted to fighting the Kingston fire. I asked Fire Duty Officer Jeff Mahdi about how they'll be redeploying air and ground crews.
We still got a lot of work to do in there. We consider that a fire of note. When we're ready to walk away with that, we want to make sure that's good and out. So it's nice that it went from being held today to under control. What that means is we've got basically 27 IMT shared between those 2 different fires. We've got 93 personnel on site at Kingston and 22 personnel in terms of ground crew. So as Paddy's Pond improves, we can shift those ground crew over to Kingston and just really work Kingston into the ground and hopefully improve the status over there as well.
The status has been improved for the Martin Lake fire in central Newfoundland as well. That fire has been downgraded in status and is now considered being held. Well, a new tool in Canada's aerial firefighting arsenal is among those resources being redeployed to the Kingston fire. The CBC's Katie Nicholson has the details.
All right, so behind me is the Kingston fire, and you might see up there a line of water bombers. Today, the province is launching what it's calling a full aerial assault on this fire. And in addition to water bombers, there is something of a new addition to the Canadian wildfire fight that's been participating in the fight here in Newfoundland for the first time. It's called a Fire Raptor.
That's the tank.
Yeah.
The snorkel. We hover down in the water. Put the snorkel, the pump is on the end of the snorkel. Put the pump in the water, start pumping, and the bag is collapsible, so it starts to extend. And when it's full, we carry 5,000 liters. When it's full, head to the fire.
It's a retrofit Sikorsky S92, but with a water bladder that's attached to the undercarriage that uses a high-power hose to suck water from ponds and then spray it onto wildfires. Pilots say a few designs on this aircraft allow for better accuracy when it comes to hitting those hotspots.
We have the bubble window here, so I can look down, straight down this hole,
Yeah.
and I can look down at the snorkel and get an accurate read on where we want the water. And properly adjust for any wind that we're dealing with.
These fire raptors have been adapted from choppers that have aged out of offshore service but still have more years of life left in them. They're stripped of passenger seats and bulkheads, anything that adds weight so it can carry more water. They started to be used in fires out west last summer.
A great, power machine, precision dropping. They're amazed at what this aircraft can do. Power, speed, precision. The flight crews love it. And yes, it's in high demand.
There are 2 in service in Canada right now, with a 3rd chopper being converted, but this is the first time that a Fire Raptor has been used in Newfoundland. All the focus right now is on the Kingston fire, which of course has burned more than 200 structures. And there are hopes that the efforts today will bring evacuees one day closer to returning and rebuilding. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, in the Heart's Content Barrens.
Well, the federal government is matching Red Cross donations for people affected by wildfires in this province. The emergency management minister says that funding is retroactive to last Thursday.
And really, it's important to the federal government to make sure that the people of Newfoundland and Labrador are taken care of. It's been, as you know, a terribly challenging wildfire season. And so we want to make sure that residents of Newfoundland and Labrador have access to as many funds as possible to help them as they rebuild their lives.
Well, many volunteer firefighters are making big sacrifices as they continue battling those wildfires. The province has promised compensation, but has been short on details about the amount and rollout. The CBC's Abby Cole has that story.
The Kingston wildfire continues to burn. 127 volunteer firefighters have responded to the call, including some members of Torbay's volunteer fire department. Fire Chief Rodney Goody says they're going above and beyond what they signed up for.
When they became a member of the volunteer fire department, the expectation was for them to respond to calls here within Torbay and Fly Rock, and they never would have imagined that they'd be responding to fires and, as far as CBN kind of things.
It's a big commitment, and some volunteers are even taking time off work.
Some people have taken annual leave and have gone out to respond to these emergencies. We've also had some people in our department who work turnarounds. One person was gone away for 6 weeks working and being home after less than 24 hours. They volunteered to go out to one of these major forest fires within an undetermined amount of time that they would be away from their families.
The province announced on August 12th that it would be compensating volunteer firefighters. But there are no details yet. And NDP leader Jim Dinn is also pushing the government to reinstate any leave volunteer firefighters take.
It's simple to ease the anxiety of people who are volunteering is, look, we'll backstop the employers and make sure that you are not without pay. I think a person or people who are putting their lives in the line of, in this case, literally in the line of fire, need to be sure that their income stream is not going to be taken from them, or they're going to lose it.
About 70% of Canada's firefighters are volunteers, but the Canadian Federation of Fire Chiefs says the number of people signing up is on the decline.
The reality is there's been a lot more studying on the impacts of firefighting, both on the physical side, but equally as important, if not more important, is the impact on the mental health side. And as you learn and understand that you're going to be exposed to very traumatic events, some people simply don't want to do it any longer as a result of that.
With forest fires becoming a more regular occurrence, the association is also pushing the feds to create a national fire administration that would optimize local responses to wildfires with what resources are already available. Abby Cole, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, police have laid firearms charges against 2 men following a collision last week. The men were in a pickup truck, matching the description of a vehicle seen fleeing Rope Walk Lane, the scene of a shooting which sent a 40-year-old man to hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary says that truck matching the witness description, later crashed on Crosby Road, and the occupants fled on foot. Now, the suspects, a 27-year-old and a 25-year-old man, have since been located and now face multiple charges, including possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. The RNC has not directly linked the two incidents, but do say the shooting investigation is ongoing and charges are expected. A tragedy at sea more than 5 years ago brought a family home from Alberta, and they brought Lacrosse with them. Now, in May of 2020, a fishing vessel went down in Placentia Bay, taking the lives of 4 fishermen. But from that tragedy at sea, a love for lacrosse was born. Team Newfoundland and Labrador's first ever box lacrosse team is playing at the Canada Games, and 7 of those players are from the Burin Peninsula. Now, Jeremy Eaton joins us live with more details. So, Jeremy, I didn't know lacrosse was big in Burin.
Neither did I, but before we talk about lacrosse, let's talk quickly where we are. This is Toba versus Sask. So Saskatchewan versus Manitoba, they're playing some volleyball. Right now, Newfoundland and Labrador are also playing against PEI, but you cannot get anywhere near the Powerplex, so we ended up here. Same thing, we tried to go to the women's soccer game earlier today. They did lose in shootout to Alberta. Couldn't get anywhere near it parking-wise. But that's right, Carolyn. When you think about the Burin Peninsula, many sports fans would think about soccer. However, due to that awful tragedy that happened at sea back in May of 2020, a father moved his family home and he brought his love of lacrosse there, and it inspired an amazing story. Have a look.
You would never be able to guess that in a million years.
In May of 2020, tragedy struck the Norman family when the Sarah Ann went down in Placentia Bay, taking the lives of 4 fishermen, including Matt Norman's father and brother.
And we moved in October during COVID, which wasn't fun, but we all made a choice as a family to decide to move to Newfoundland from Alberta.
Having dabbled in lacrosse while living in Western Canada, Norman wanted to start playing the sport on the Burin Peninsula, which was easier said than done.
It was hard getting equipment. We had some support from the St. John's here to get nets and sticks to try to do a try-it. I think within the first 3 or 4 weeks, we had 38 kids signed up.
But with all that interest, they still didn't have anyone to stand in net.
Well, they didn't have a goalie, and you need someone to shoot on. So it was me. So my husband volunteered me to go in net.
The teens weren't holding back either.
I would hate to see him running in towards me, and he would look me dead set in the eyes, and he would take a shot on me, and he didn't take it easy on me.
As time went on, the love for the sport continued to grow.
We've been practicing for 3 years, the same group of kids. We lost some along the way, right? It's hard to compete in a small area with limited kids, not limited sports, but limited kids.
7 kids from the Burin Peninsula are now on the box lacrosse roster at the Canada Games, something no one could have seen coming. A great experience for the younger Norman.
It's really great. It's fun. I love when the games are close like that one, like a nail biter. I love when we score. It's just really great. It's a good experience.
They have a love for it. As soon as they picked up the stick, these 7 kids, they dug in and they didn't stop and they kept going, and yeah, we're proud.
I couldn't be happier. The boys are growing every game. They're like a bunch of savages. They love the game. They dig in, and it's awesome.
And that is one of the many incredible stories here at the Canada Games this week. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Jeremy Eaton in St. John's.
Back to the wildfires, the federal government is extending the food fishery this year. In a statement, Joanne Thompson, the Minister of Fisheries, says the wildfire situation significantly limited people's ability to take part in the recreational fishery. So government is adding 2 additional weekends to the season. The first 2 weekends of September are now included in the food fishery. Government says all other rules remain the same.
Yeah, certainly not a great weekend on the water either because of Hurricane Erin, which is expected to pass well south of us as we head through the weekend. Just take a look at Erin. It is a massive storm, and good thing it is staying offshore because it's packing a punch, that's for sure. We're going to see a few showers tonight along the northeast coast, increasing cloud through the day tomorrow, and then those high seas expected this weekend. I'll break it all down for you coming up a little later.
An invasive bug is eating trees and plants in the Humber Valley, and it could be an issue for years. Colleen Connors reports.
These colorful fuzzy caterpillars are eating up all the foliage in the Humber Valley and western regions of the province. Similar to the spruce budworm that's killed thousands of trees across Grossmore National Park, this caterpillar's damage has been spotted in Green Bay White Bay, Conn River, St. Albans, and along the Bay to Spare Highway.
Because apparently we're sort of infested, and it's not a nice thing to touch.
Grady and his wife first spotted them on their deck in downtown Corner Brook in July and shared some pictures online, trying to find a name for the pesky insect.
With the little orange dots on the back and the tussocks on the head and the two, I don't know, antennas or whatever they are on the front. So when I poked it with the stick, it sort of curled up and looked like it wanted to be aggressive, I guess. Yeah, no, it's a pretty looking thing, but apparently pretty nasty.
It's the white tussock moth, a native species to Newfoundland and Labrador, and they are falling from trees and landing on, well, everything. Bowden says the little fuzzy hairs are irritating on the skin, but not poisonous.
It's like thorns, sort of. They can sort of mechanically get into your skin, and especially soft areas of your skin, like under your elbows or behind your legs and that sort of thing, or your neck. And cause, especially if they drop from trees, if you're walking through areas with a lot of these caterpillars, they can cause a rash.
The white tussocks have erupted in population in this hot, dry summer, turning the Humber Valley brown. It looks like fall has come early. The bugs eat the alders, birches, and firs. They are not picky.
They emerge in the spring as caterpillars, and those caterpillars start feeding. And over time, of course, they get bigger and bigger, and that feeding is more pronounced because they're eating more and more and more to get bigger. Moth. And then the adult female.
And why so many of them this year? Bowden says it could be due to the warmer climate and species emerging earlier than usual.
Species are being redistributed at broad spatial scales across the planet.
The good news? The insects are now at the end of the feeding cycle, for this year anyway.
When populations get dense, no matter whether it's people, plants, insects, those kinds of things, disease transfers really quickly, and so disease will spread through those populations quite quickly in the next couple of years and tends to knock those populations down after sort of 3 to 5 years. So.
Right now, you may be seeing a whole lot of white cocoons on your siding or on your deck. The moths pupate on pretty much any surface. The female moths are wingless and will stay put here, laying their eggs for next season. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Newfoundland and Labrador Health Services provided an update on its response to the bombshell Auditor General report, which showed how the health system overspent millions on agency nurses. CEO Pat Parfrey says NLHS has implemented 12 of the report's 15 recommendations.
We feel that we are the solution for this problem. And that the pieces that we put into effect will solve the issues that relate to inadequate accounting methods, and will create a system whereby we're able to have standardized contracts with knowledge of conflict of interest and the capacity to be able to have a sophisticated accounting system to deal with that. Of the 15 recommendations that the Auditor General made, 12 of them are already fully implemented, and the 3 that are left are on the road without any great issue at all. The RFP that we put out for a forensic auditor to deal with Agency A questions. The second one was around an action plan. Is around our action plan for monitoring the new contracts that we have, and we said that would be. They need to be in effect for 6 months before we would monitor performance. We're about to start on that. And the third one probably is fully implemented, but important, is have we got an action plan on how to reduce agency nurses? We do, and we have projections about what agency nurses are required in what places. They're all required in frontline care, and we have a plan that's closely monitored and accountable to me to be able to reduce the number of agency nurses.
Ashley, looking at Hurricane Erin there, just, off the coast, I can't help but think, my goodness, we really dodged a bullet with this one. If it had tracked over the island, how bad could that storm have been?
Yeah, I mean, it's a large storm, right? Take a look at this satellite picture, how big this storm is. Just to put this into perspective, reading the technical discussion on the hurricane earlier today, so tropical storm force winds, that's 60 kilometer per hour, 63 kilometer per hour winds, sustained, extend 425 kilometers from the center of the storm outward. So that is a large area of very strong winds or strong winds, along with, gusts much higher than that. And then the other thing that they mentioned that I thought was really interesting is that this puts this storm, Hurricane Erin, in the 90th percentile of storms in the Atlantic Basin with that large of a wind field. So, they're only 10% more, 10% of the other hurricanes were higher than that. So it is certainly a large storm, and it is starting to make its turn now, or it's already moving north, but it's going to start to move east. And that is going to keep the storm well south of the Atlantic provinces. But we can see just that cloud cover already extending into Nova Scotia, the outer bands of this. So Hurricane Erin is currently a Category 2 storm near the center of the storm, the eye of the storm, just outside it. The sustained winds are 160 kilometers per hour, and those wind gusts are at 195. And again, right now moving to the northeast at about 32 kilometers per hour right now. So it is picking up speed, and it is going to continue to stay south of the Atlantic provinces as we head through tonight and into tomorrow, into tomorrow rather. And then by Saturday, it's going to start its transition to post-tropical, which means it's no longer being fed by the ocean, it's being fed by the upper levels, but it's going to stay strong. Still gusts are going to be about 140 kilometers per hour, 130 by the time we get into Saturday afternoon. So definitely a strong storm, but the good news is, like I said, it is going to stay south. So here's that wind field that I was talking about. This is the sustained wind probability of 63 kilometers per hour. You can see how large that is, but it stays well south of us. So that's certainly good news there. However, as we head into Saturday, it does look like we may see some gusty winds with this, some models pointing at that. The winds will be out of the north, and by the time we get into Saturday afternoon, some of us across the Avalon and eastern Newfoundland may be seeing those gusts 60 to 70 kilometers per hour, and potentially a little higher though, depending on how close it actually gets with that wind field. You can see it spreads pretty large, but southeastern portions of the Avalon may see a little bit stronger winds there as well. So certainly keep that in mind if you do have any plans for your Saturday. The thing is really it's going to be the waves. And as we head into Saturday afternoon, we'll start to see those waves. Could be somewhere between 3 to 5 meters breaking close to the shore. So certainly not a good day to be out on the water. By the time we get into Sunday afternoon, still dealing with some pretty high waves, but those seas will abate as we get into Monday. Now, taking a look at what's happening right now, we've got temperatures down to about 15 degrees in St. John's. Those winds light, about 4 kilometers per hour. And the good news is that air quality alert has finally ended and was replaced with an air quality statement, and it only for the Northwest Avalon. But those northwesterlies are going to stick around as we head through the night tonight, about 20 to 40 kilometer per hour winds. Overall cool temperatures, just a chance of a few showers towards the coast. And as we head into tomorrow morning, we may see that along the northeast coast as well through the overnight and into early tomorrow morning. And then we watch for Friday. Clouds will be on the increase. We may even see a few showers again through the afternoon hours through central. Taking a look at the temperatures tomorrow, they'll be a little on the cool side, but warmer west and south and then up across Labrador. You're also looking at your temperatures near the coast anyway, single digits in some cases, otherwise upper teens. So we'll talk about your long range forecast when I come back a little later.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, heading back to the Canada Games now, wrestling is underway at the Glacier in Mount Pearl. The young team is headed up by a fellow Newfoundlander and Labradorian who competed in the 2012 Olympics. Leah Ferguson still considers herself a local and has been keeping the mat and has been on the mat, rather, keeping an eye on both the men's and women's wrestling teams. And Jeremy Eaton met up with her yesterday and joins us now live. So Jeremy, how did the former Olympian end up coaching Team NL?
So sorry, the light's on, the light's off because we can't have the light on when the teams are playing. So basically, during the last Summer Canada Games, which was 2022 in Niagara, Leah Ferguson was approached by someone to come head up Team Newfoundland and Labrador's Amateur Wrestling Association, which she did and only happily did, because not only does she want to grow the sport in Newfoundland and Labrador, having grown up in northern British Columbia, she wants to push the sport into northern communities. Take a look at our conversation earlier today.
I was born in Newfoundland. My parents moved me away when I was 3, but all my extended family still lives here. I moved to a small town in northern BC and got introduced to wrestling as like sort of a rural, isolated kid. It was a great sport and ended up going to the Olympics in 2012. Newfoundland was one of my biggest supporters. They really rallied behind me, and so I really appreciated that as a province. And so when they called me to be a coach for the Canada Games team, I just jumped on.
And what's the experience been like for you?
Tons of fun. I always love coming home. Like I said, all my family's here. I get to see my grandmother and my aunt and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, just seeing the kids and seeing the sport grow in the province. COVID was really hard on our numbers. And so just having, 15 kids wrestling for the province is huge. We're really excited. Coming from northern BC, I was from a really small town. It was 14 hours away from Vancouver, and wrestling really gave me an opportunity to experience my province and then my country and then eventually the world. And so I'm very, very passionate about starting wrestling in small northern Canada. Natalia Rich is here from Sheshatshiu, and her coach Josh Dick went to the Canada Games years ago, and he's actually a bronze medalist for our province, a national bronze medalist. And so he went back home and started a team, and he's coaching Natalia. And yeah, so she's here and she's doing lots of hard things and big things, and I'm really excited for her.
How proud are you of this team that's on the mat here behind us?
I'm really proud. They have been through a lot. They put a lot of work in. They've gelled as a team, and yeah, they're going to show up and make the province proud.
I know that a lot of people are going to look at the medal totals and be like, well, maybe we're not doing amazing, but it's stories like this one and many other of just people trying to grow sports in areas that might not have the opportunity to take part in them. And if you're wondering, right now, Manitoba's up 17-14 in Game 5 of the Best of 5 series. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Jeremy Eaton in St. John's.
Well, as air and ground crews continue to fight back the Kingston wildfire, those who have been evacuated from their homes are left waiting for information about whether their homes have survived and when they might be able to return to their community. The CBC's Adam Walsh was in Carbonear for today's edition of The Signal.
We're just outside of Carbonear Academy here, the evacuation center. You know, you're still seeing water bombers go overhead for doing the loads for fighting the Kingston fire. Meanwhile, you've got evacuees, you've got volunteers all inside. And the big thing that people have been telling us today, it's the wait for information, the want for more information to find out about their properties. Some people are still waiting on that, and other folks want to get in and check on the state of their properties. They want to know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, and they're waiting.
We don't know where we're going to.
Yeah.
My sister and I's upstairs with 2 German Shepherds, and we got no house, we got no home to go to.
No.
We don't know if it's burnt. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's burnt or anything like that.
Yeah.
But still, like, what are we going to do from now on? Like, until this gets done.
So yeah, the waiting is very,
Yeah,
very
we need
difficult.
a house. We need some place to go with me, my sister, and 2 dogs, right? Here now, you get up in the morning, you do your breakfast, the same thing over and over again. It's like a routine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And tired a lot more
Yeah.
than I was home. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not home.
No.
Well, the waiting game is the worst part of the game because there's no information. There's nobody telling us when there's an estimate what time we'll be able to go back to our homes and how they're going to do it, you know. Because, you know, there'll be a lot of nosy people going down to see, wanting to see what the damage was. And I think that'll interfere with the people that live there.
Mental health has always been a barrier for a lot of people, a lot of men.
Yeah.
Because it's something that men aren't supposed to be prone to.
Yeah.
So when it comes
Yeah,
down,
there's a stigma with it for men,
there-
right?
yeah,
there's a
there's a
stigma around
stigma.
of asking for help and of talking about our feelings
Yeah.
and stuff.
so a lot of men don't want to go down to the hall and try and talk to a mental health nurse.
Yeah.
I'd rather, but if they can talk to somebody else about things, a lot of times it'll help.
Yeah, that's why a lot of times when we talk about guys, it's that side by side, having a buddy with you to just talk a bit and do something. Activities is when folks may not want to go and sit down in more of a formal setting.
Yeah.
And because you're volunteering too, right?
I'm doing that to keep my mind occupied so I don't start having my own breakdowns again.
Yeah.
So since I've been here, like, I don't usually stop.
So what are you doing? Tell me about some of the stuff you're doing.
I've moved furniture around. I've brought stuff in, loaded trucks up.
Yeah.
Like last few days, I've been going up and down the stairs,
Yeah.
or the elevator to get stuff into the storage rooms, out of the storage rooms.
Whatever's needed, eh?
Whatever's needed.
Yeah. So as you just heard, you have people trying to keep busy, trying to offer support for one another, comfort for each other as the wait for information continues. Adam Walsh, CBC News, Carbonear.
Canada Post is offering to forward mail for free for people affected by wildfires. Mail and parcel delivery has been suspended to multiple Conception Bay North communities due to the Kingston wildfire. This includes communities like Broad Cove, Western Bay, Burnt Point, Northern Bay, and Salmon Cove. Mail pickup for those communities is currently available in Harbour Grace and Carbonear. However, Canada Post says residents and businesses can have their mail forwarded elsewhere for free for 1 year. But residents have a limited amount of time to register for that service. More information can be found on the Canada Post website. Sibling rivalry can be a powerful motivator in sports, and it's been a secret weapon of sorts for one golfing team from this province. Freya and Mila Snook are 14-year-old twin sisters who fell in love with the game of golf at the age of 3. I caught up with them after a very rainy day of competition at Ballyhaley, and you may remember seeing the twins on our show many years ago. How did it come about that you both started playing golf at the age of 3?
It's a long story, but when we were 3, our dad bought us our first set of plastic baseball, like a baseball bat. And since we swung it like a golf club, he decided to get us our first mini set of golf clubs, and we've just been going since then.
Why do you love golf so much that you've kept with it all this time?
It's just so fun. You're outside, you get your steps in. You can get your snacks in your golf cart, spend 4 hours with your friends or family, and just 4 hours of competition between the two of us.
And Freya, what do you love about golf?
I definitely love competing against her, but I also love the people and the atmosphere of the golf course. I love everyone here. They're so nice, and it's really fun playing with them.
And are you very competitive with your sister?
Very competitive. We go out every day. I try to beat her every single day.
We're really competitive. It's always back and forth. Like you win by one, then the other person wins by two. We're just always going. We like push each other to be better, and that's how we've like gotten to where we are.
So you're here at the Canada Games. This is a pretty special thing. What are your hopes and dreams for the future and your career in golf?
Just gonna continue doing what we're doing. We can qualify for the next Canada Games we want, but in the long run, I'd really like to make any division of golf in the U.S.
My end goal right now is to play college golf down in the U.S. I would love that. That would be so much fun. And we'll see how it goes from there.
We had you on Here and Now, and I remember this from 2019. You're both 8 years old. I just want to play for you what you said at the time.
I have fun trying to get better at all my putting and my drivers, and it's pretty fun.
So do you like driving the ball, teeing it up? Is that your favorite part, of hitting it hard, or do you like the putting part?
I like booming the ball for it.
Booming the ball?
Oh my gosh. Oh Lord.
Are you still booming the ball out there?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, Fred, that's your famous
I
quote.
still love to boom the ball far.
Oh Lord.
Loved their reaction to seeing that. My goodness, so fun. Well, another great outdoor event this week is mountain biking. There are races happening tomorrow and Sunday, but yesterday was the big one, the cross-country race. And a huge crowd was there to get a close look at what this sport is all about.
What's it like to have the competitors on your tail?
It's definitely a bit intimidating, but it's also amazing. You're just like, oh my God, like there's so many people here watching me and supporting me, and it's such a great feeling.
Today in the Canada Games is mountain biking. This is the XCO, which is the cross-country Olympic race. So it's a really hard 1 hour 20 type effort for both the women and the male athletes. It's really exciting with the skills park, which is at the end of the course. So there's lots of opportunities for spectators to come down and watch. All the athletes have been working really, really hard over the last 2 years to prepare themselves to get here for their home games, which is obviously really exciting for them and their family and their supporters.
Nice view, hey, out on the course?
Yeah, it's beautiful. There's some special spots, and like you don't get to see this anywhere else. My name's Lydia Parsons, I'm 14, and I'm from Corner Brook.
My name is Sophie Cote, I'm 17, and I'm from Glovertown. Our team is spread out a little bit across the island. There's some people who live here in town, there's people on the west coast, and I'm in Central. So sometimes we have to find our own local trails to train on. And we've gone on plenty of team trips. So we've been down to Arizona, we've done the Canada Cups in Dieppe. It's been incredible to see all these other places and compete in these huge events. It's a pretty technical course, lots of rocks, lots of roots. It's been a little bit wet the past couple of days, like there was rain yesterday and last night, so it's been a little bit slick. So that kind of changes like our lines and stuff and where we have to go. But the course is still running fast and it was a good, solid race.
Limit was 6 laps and we got pulled, but that's okay because we still got to compete here. 6th in the world just came through, she won, so it was amazing being here and be able to watch that.
I think it's really, really important for the development of the sport in our province. Seeing this and making this accessible, plus all the young people and the young kids and that can now use the skills park, will hopefully get more people involved in the sport and there'll be more athletes out there doing cross-country mountain biking in the future.
Well, hopefully it'll help grow our sport. It's already becoming so much bigger than it was before, lots of people participating, but the XC side of things could still be grown lots. Like, we don't have a full girls team this year, and if we could like get a full one for the next round, that would truly be like incredible. So hopefully this event being hosted here will help make that happen and bring some more attention to the sport.
Well, Athletes at the Games have been competing in 19 different sports, but there's also an unofficial 20th sport, trading and collecting pins. The CBC's Alex Kennedy takes us inside the pin trading economy of the Games.
Canada Games athletes compete in 19 sports, but there's also an unofficial 20th sport of pin trading.
I started trading right away. I got lots of things going on. I got lots of sets back at the dorms, and yeah, it's been going great. We go pin trading a lot. Every night before bed we go out and we just stand waiting for someone to come up to us, because if you stand, the amount of people come up to you asking for pins is crazy.
Pins can come from just about anywhere around the Games. Venues, local businesses, or community partners. But they mostly come from athletes. They each get a set from their home province to keep or trade.
Most provinces also have special sets that either fit a theme or can be combined to make a larger image. This is one of the hottest in demand from Newfoundland and Labrador, but athletes from this province know it fetches a high price.
Multiple people will be like, I'll give you these 5 pins for this dog. But I'm very protective over my pins. And I love my dogs and my puffins, so I found it really hard to trade them.
Others might go for collections, like a pin from every province. But trust me, that's easier said than done.
That's because the number of athletes from a province or territory varies greatly. While it's easy to find something like Alberta or Ontario, finding a pin from the Northwest Territories or Nunavut can be a real challenge.
And they're also hagglers because they know how important their pins are. They're like, give me 3 for 1, and I'm like, no, please. But then I got a 1-for-1 trade because I had the Newfoundland puff, and he really wanted it, so it was awesome.
And it isn't just athletes who get in on the fun. Lynn Cozina came here from Ontario to volunteer. She's known as the Queen of Pins. She's been trading at sporting events around the world for a decade.
If you want to be considered a pin trader, make sure you wear at least one on your lanyard, because that's the signal to other pin traders that it's okay to approach you and ask for pins. And he educated me about there's high value pins and low value pins and friend trades. So it was a wealth of information.
She's even had the chance to design a pin, helping craft this one for the Paris Olympics.
I needed a high value trader, but when you're not an athlete, it's hard, to get an equivalent pin, for trading. So I designed a pin and had it made by the pin people that was a Canadian volunteer Paris 2024 pin, and mission accomplished. The athletes loved it, so I was able to do some good trades in Paris.
So all of these people are pin collectors, but what do they get out of it?
It gets you talking to the other people from different provinces and being able to actually have a conversation with them. It's a great way to, get to know people from different places, learn about their culture and their sport and everything. It's just the best part. I think it's, really fun that so many people have gone so invested in it.
And that connection is what Newfoundland and Labrador's chef de mission says makes the Canada Games.
By the end of the week, you're going to see some pins going for clothing, jackets, bucket hats, things like that. I mean, people, it is a big currency at the Canada Games.
So if you're out and about, don't forget to bring your pins, because you never know when you'll find the ultimate set. Alex Kennedy, CBC News, St. John's.
so we're getting close to the weekend. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about Hurricane Erin. I mean, some little effects you were talking about with the waves and things like that, but nothing major.
No, nothing major.
We've had enough to deal with.
We certainly have.
We didn't need a hurricane right now.
No, although the rain would have been nice for sure, because we certainly need it. But there is still a chance we might see some rain from this. So let's take a look at the long-range forecast. This is just one model, because most of the models have the rain passing well south of us. But through the overnight, this particular model is showing the potential for some rain through the overnight on Friday and into the first part of Saturday. Now, northerlies are going to keep us likely in some drizzle through the day, especially for eastern Newfoundland. But something to keep an eye on. It doesn't look like it's anything super significant if it does happen, but still, every little bit counts at this point. Expect some gusty winds, though, through the day, certainly for the eastern portion of the Avalon, or the eastern portion of Newfoundland, rather. Particularly the Avalon, where we'll likely see some gusts upwards of 60, maybe even 70 kilometers per hour through the day. The rest of the province really looks quiet weather-wise. Likely some sunshine on the west coast, quiet up across Labrador as well. But temperatures will be on the cool side. Daytime highs, because of those northerly winds, will only be about 11 or 12 degrees, a little warmer for the west and south and the upper teens, but that is about it. Labrador, coastal areas, single digits, few showers possible for you as well. Otherwise, between 12 to about 18 degrees will be your daytime highs on Saturday. As we head into Sunday, things will improve for the east, but we will see our next weather maker move in. Some showers will move in for the west coast of the island, western portions of Labrador, and those will head across the big land as we head into the evening hours on Sunday, and some more shower activity expected for parts of the island as well. Overall, daytime highs will start to rebound a little bit, so back up into the upper teens, low 20s. Northern Peninsula, though, you'll stay hovering around the 13-degree mark, and then for Labrador, overall somewhere between 9 and 16 degrees will be your temperatures, but coolest for the north coast. As we look ahead to the long-range forecast, temperatures warming up as we get into next week. Also a bit more humidity in the forecast as well. Sunday, Monday looking dry, but some shower chances by the time we get into Tuesday for St. John's and eastern Newfoundland. And then for central, your temperatures will also be warmer. Tuesday showers, same thing for western Newfoundland. Daytime highs will sit somewhere between 21 and 22 degrees, and your overnight lows back up into the teens. So we've been dealing with single digits, but now it'll be a little warmer. For eastern Labrador, you're looking at an unsettled start to next week as well. Temperatures slowly warming as we get into Tuesday. And then for western Labrador, your temperatures will be in the teens as well. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday looking unsettled. You'll drop down to the single digits through the overnight by the time we get into Tuesday. Our viewer picture of the day taken in Tilting on Fogo Island. Beautiful.
Oh, that's stunning.
Isn't it? I love sunsets. Yes, this is overlooking the lighthouse there, Lighthouse Hill rather, in Tilting. Jill, great shot. Thank you for that. If you have any weather photos you'd like to share with us, love to see them. You can send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Oh, it's been too long since I've been up to that part of the province.
I know.
It's so
It's
gorgeous
been like
up there.
5 years, I think, for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get up there.
It's been a long time.
6, I guess.
We
Been going
should take
2020.
the show on the road.
Let's do
Would
it.
that be fun?
Love it.
Okay, well, that's it for us for this Thursday evening. Thank you so much for spending part of your night with us.
Good night.